On today's Primetime local news, details are being released on the fire yesterday evening in the border city. And the city is looking to hear from you for the first time in person since the pandemic began.
And I know not everybody agrees with everything the city's moving forward with on projects, and there'll be questions about why.
Plus, the Lloydminster Bobcats goalie is nominated for Canadian Junior Hockey Goaltender of the Year.
Prime Time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Fire crews continue to investigate the cause of a house fire in the city Tuesday night. In this viewer-submitted video, you can see the house engulfed in flames. Fire crews arrived at the scene located at the 3700th block of 41A Avenue just after 4 p.m. and didn't finish until around 8:30. A member of the public was treated by EMS on scene, and a firefighter was treated for minor injuries at Lloydminster Hospital. No word yet on the cause. And members of the public will be able to voice their opinions with members of City Council and administration at the Share Your Voice event taking place on Thursday.
I'm extremely excited. I know members of council are excited. It's going to be great to be able to get people to gather to get their input.
This is the first major public engagement session to take place in person since early 2020. The community can come and discuss a wide range of issues, including the 2022 Social Needs Assessment, taxation, and the new Municipal Development Plan.
We'll be more than glad to answer why around the arena. What's wrong with the Civic Center? Why are we building a new arena? What's wrong with the old fire hall? We can explain that. I know the new fire hall open. We'll be able to talk about that. Talk about some bylaws that have been changing.
The event runs from 3 to 7 p.m. on Thursday at the Lloyd Mall's west entrance. Bike Safety Week is upcoming here in Lloydminster, with Mayor Gerald Albers taking part in the ride along parts of the city with the local residents.
We are today.
Bike with the Mayor took place last night as a way to promote the week. The trail started off at Winston Churchill School before going along 36th Street and finally making its way back to the starting point. While it may be a nice ride for residents to ride their bikes once again this summer, the importance of bike safety remains high.
It's important for the people riding bicycles to understand the rules so that the drivers of large vehicles understand they can signal to them. It's no different than in a vehicle when you use your turn signal. You can do that on a bicycle, and it helps the people behind you know what you're doing.
As a cyclist, I really want to encourage people to slow down, to do whatever it takes to not be distracted, and just to be aware that there are other people that are maybe sharing the roadway that are in a position that are more vulnerable.
Bike Safety Week will kick off in Saskatchewan from May 15th to the 21st. And continuing on with events from last night, residents not only had the chance to bike with the mayor, but some kids came out to join a bike rodeo. Local kids were able to show off their biking skills and practice safety rules with the Lloydminster RCMP. Every year around this time, students get a reminder on what's required of them with biking season coming up.
We want to remind people of the main safety features of your bicycle. Make sure that they're ready to go. Your brakes are checked, your tires are full with air, and that you've got one of those bells on there so you can notify people around you.
RCMPs say there's quite a few incidents involving motorists and cyclists every year, so they want to keep spreading awareness on both sides. They hope every resident will take caution and take charge of their own responsibility, especially at certain times during the day.
That are always a little bit more dangerous than others. Dawn and dusk are extremely important, as well as nighttime. Make sure that your bicycle has reflectors on it. One's on the front and the back, on the pedals as well is always a good idea. And it's a good idea to have a light, both front and back, something that'll flash to get people's attention.
Well, things are getting freaky at the Lloydminster Comprehensive High School as students are preparing for this year's musical. I have more in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Freaky Friday will be this year's production for the LCHS Drama Club. The club's put a pause on in-person shows with the pandemic, but this year they're back after having to cancel the performance.
Last year we got a show ready, but we were unable to perform it. So that was a really, I think, a big letdown for the kids, and it was just, I mean, to put a lot of work into it is one thing, but then to not have the final product ever be shown is another. So
Earlier in the week, they were rehearsing some of the songs for the musical, and the students are excited to showcase their talent.
I really like it because I've been doing musical theater since I was 9 years old, and for the past 2 years we haven't been able to do anything because of COVID, and so finally being able to be back performing with everybody around and with people being able to watch, it's pretty great.
The play will be running from May 27th to 29th at the Vic Juba Community Theater, with tickets available at the box office. Stang says this will give new actors a chance to perform.
a lot of them actually haven't done a show with me before, just because it has been a couple years. The couple leads in the show, or the few leads in the show, have had a small taste, I guess, of what it's like. But even for them, you know, it's been a couple of years. So for a lot of them, it's like, yeah, really exciting, because they've been looking forward to doing kind of their first musical at the school for a couple of years now. So.
And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students are challenged to go beyond the classroom, so when industry knocks, they're ready to thrive. Learn more at lakelandcollege.ca.
After leading all Alberta Junior Hockey League goalies in games played, minutes played, and saves, Lloydminster Bobcats goaltender Colby Thornton was named the best in the league at his position. Now he's been given the nod as a finalist for the Canadian Junior Hockey League Goaltender of the Year.
Inside the zone, shot, saved by Thornton, rebound, to Leslie, shot, saved by Thornton, he'll sit on this one. Like a penguin on an egg, Colby sits and waits.
Thornton was tied for second in wins, sitting with a record of 26-13-2, while posting a career-high 9.13 save percentage.
And we challenged him from day one to, to come in as a 20-year-old and take over the blue paint, and he did that, and he continued to push throughout the entire year. And it takes a team around him too as well. And I think when they had the confidence in him, and he had the confidence of guys around him, it just continued to build in the right way.
While Thornton put up stellar numbers, Dubé says what separates the 20-year-old from others can't be quantified.
He was always very fiery, and I think that, that's what takes him to be at his best, and we saw it pretty much every day this year.
Thornton is committed to play at Aurora University next season. And now for another look at this evening's forecast, we go to Shelby Clark.
Thanks so much again, Miss Jasmine King. Now taking a look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with the central zone of our provinces here. We are sitting at, and we are seeing some warmer temperatures than what we were seeing earlier on in the week. We are seeing those double digits on the Alberta side especially. 11 over in Edson, while it is 13 degrees in Whitecourt and Jasper, 14 in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, and Edmonton and Athabasca are looking slightly warmer at 15, 16 degrees. And switching now to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those warm temperatures as well, even close to that 20 mark. So they're seeing a slightly warmer compared to the Alberta side. As Cold Lake is seeing that 16 mark as well, with 15 in Meadow Lake, 17 in both Melfort and North Battleford, and Saskatoon and Prince Albert, the warmest there at 18 degrees. Now going over to our northern zone to see what they are sitting at. They are seeing some slightly warmer temperatures, especially lower down, but as you go up a little bit higher, they have cooled down just slightly than what they have been seeing earlier on in the week as well. Uranium City and Stony Rapids at that 3 and 4 mark. 5 degrees in Wollaston Lake, while it is 8 in both LaLoche and Buffalo Narrows, 11 in South End, and the last two there, La Ronge and Flin Flon, seeing 15. And switching back to our Alberta side here, they are seeing still some warmer temperatures compared to the Saskatchewan side. Fort Chipewyan is looking slightly cooler, just hitting 6. It is 10 in High Level, while it is 12 and 13 in Fort McMurray and Slave Lake, as well as in Grand Prairie there, And Peace River is looking the warmest, sitting there at 15 degrees. Now going over to our southern zone to check them out. As we expected, they are still seeing some warmer temperatures compared to the rest. 16 in Lethbridge, while Medicine Hat is just at 18, 12 in Calgary, Calgary, and Coronation is seeing 15 degrees, and Banff is seeing the coolest there, just at that single-digit mark at 9. And going back to our Saskatchewan side, here they are still seeing not too bad of temps. Most spots on this side are seeing 16 degrees at the moment. Moose Jaw and Yorkton are even closer to that 20 mark, while Estevan is slightly cooler, just at 11. But as we go back across the region and seeing what we will expect throughout our evening and throughout the night, I think we'll be pretty happy to see that we aren't going to be seeing too many minus points for our evening lows. We are kind of heading it back up there into the plus degree range here. Hopefully we will stick to that, but we probably will be cooling down a bit later on for the weekend. Most spots will just be expecting to see a low of that 1 mark, while Provost, Meadow Lake, and Isla Cross will be expecting to see a low of 2 degrees. Pearson will be expecting to see a low of 3, and Bonnyville will be seeing that warmest with a low of 4. So we will be seeing those single-digit points, so slightly cooler but warmer than what we are used to. So I think we will be seeing a beautiful night, and we will be seeing some cloudier conditions continue on in most spots across the region. And looking at tomorrow's temperatures across the region, we will be warming up even, seeing past that 20 point, especially on the Saskatchewan side, some reaching that 21. And the Alberta side is still quite warm, but most spots will be expecting to see around 19 degrees. And ending off with our 7-day forecast here in the border city, we will be seeing a high chance of some precipitation for the weekend, unfortunately, but still seeing 17, so still quite warm days, and even seeing a little bit more sun there on Sunday to end off that weekend. And as we head into next week, expect to see some warmer temperatures even, with 19 starting off and seeing that continue throughout the rest of the week. That is another look at your weather forecast. Our Jasmine King will have more news coming up after the break.
Well, this is quite a pleasure. Twice in 1 week, I get to speak to country superstar Garth Brooks. Garth has added a second show at Edmonton, June 24th. Garth, thank you so much for chatting with us once again.
You kidding me? I hesitate to, because you knocked it out of the park last week. Evidently, they showed up in record numbers, and I was flattered, humbled. And at the end of the day, you go, did we disappoint more people than we made happy? So here comes the second show.
Well, Garth, you didn't have to add a second show. You could have just been one and done. There were some problems with people getting tickets. So why did you, take a look and say, well, I guess we should do a second show?
Well, for one, we're already there, right? Because we'll do a Friday night sound check anyway, which is for the lighting guys. But now the sound check will just go Thursday night, and we'll be there Friday night. And the thing is, I don't know if you guys think this is work or something for me, but this is like, okay, you get to eat your favorite dessert. Oh, wait a minute, Garth. Now you get to eat 2 of your favorite desserts, right? So to me, it's just joy. I get to sing those songs and see those faces 2 nights in a row. I'll take that every time over 1 night in a row.
Well, Garth, I've seen people posting that if Garth does 6 shows in Edmonton, we'll buy tickets to 6 shows. It's a great compliment, but it's also a bit of a problem for people who are trying to get tickets to just 1 show. So, it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, it's very sweet. And you always play. Like last time we were in Edmonton, I think we did multiple shows there as well. And what you do is you always bank or think that one person's going to see all of them. So you must make each one different somehow, where they can walk out and go, oh, he didn't do that this or this time. That's what it's all about. So we'll have people, hopefully, that come to both nights. And our job is to make both of them different.
There are some people that are scalping tickets already, unfortunately, and creating some Facebook accounts that are fake, trying to swindle people out of tickets. What message do you have to those people, Garth? I know it's out of your control, but it still must be frustrating.
Yeah, man, if you have to hear from the artist, just no thank you. We got a love thing going on between the people that allow me to be an artist and the artist back to them. And so it's like, stay out of it. I understand, hey, Garth, good for you. This is how we make our living, whatever. I just don't see how it's legal. One, I don't see what it helps the government for it to be legal. And I'm seriously thinking, I don't know about if your country does. We have capital punishment down here. I think that's a good penalty for scalping.
Now, Garth, people in this province and in Saskatchewan, which is next door, are obviously ready for this show. Some people haven't had a chance to see you yet. So if this is their first time coming to a Garth show, what can they expect?
Just have some patience with me, because you're going to go, this is the stupidest, craziest thing I've ever seen, but it does make sense. There is a plan in the end, but all you do is just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. You put yourself in God's hands and the people's hands, and they take you on this ride. And what's fun is to look back, and the drummer doesn't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on, and so that makes the band and crew really focus on the next song, whatever it's going to be, because we're walking the crowd, seeing those signs, and it keeps everybody on their toes, but it sure makes it fun. And the next thing you know, you've been on stage 90 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's crazy.
I watched one of your lives this week, Garth, and saw the fan interaction, and they clearly love seeing you and the response that you give. What does it feel like? I see a lot of people saying that they have memories attached to your songs, whether it be they met their significant other, or they graduated
Sure.
with this song, or how does it feel to be that impactful on somebody that you're in essence with them for their entire life?
It's very sweet. Now try to remember, before you do this, you have to be a fan first, right? Because you just love music. So I remember coming home from school, and if James Taylor was playing on the family stereo, the night was going to be calm. It was going to be great. Everybody was getting along, because our house was, our house was pretty physical. It's pretty loud, pretty crazy. And but when you heard James Taylor, so now every time I hear James Taylor, that peace, that love, that safety, all that stuff comes in with his music. So I just love that stuff. So if somebody thinks of my music and ties it to something in their life the way I do James Taylor for mine, or George Strait for mine, that makes me feel very, very, very lucky and very special.
Well, Garth, thank you again for chatting. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure everybody, you and Miss Trisha are already honorary Canadians. So we're excited to see you when you come up here again. June 24th is the second show. Tickets on sale 10 o'clock tomorrow. Get in the Ticketmaster waiting room at 9 a.m. We so look forward to seeing you. Thank you for adding this second show, Garth. You have so many fans up here, and we're super excited to see you.
I've enjoyed seeing you twice in 1 week. I love you. Thank you again for all the help.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us this week. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator here in Lloydminster with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation. And today, Stephanie, we are talking about employment pension plans and basically how they're valued and divided when people are going through the divorce and separation process. So let's talk about what happens. Basically, if people are going through a divorce or separation, I guess we start with the separation part, and pension is an issue. What's the starting point? Where do you even begin?
Well, the first thing that we need to do, of course, we say it's complicated. So we're going to try to give some of the basics here. But of course, the best thing I can do is to say, get some professional advice. But first of all, we have to figure out what type of pension that you may have. Of course, they're not all the same. And so it's really important to understand the differences. So when we say the word pension, I just want to make sure we're clear with our viewers what kind of pension we're talking about. There's the government pensions like CPP and OAS, and then there's employment pensions. So today we're talking more narrowly about employment pensions. So those employment pensions are actually family property that's to be divided or valued at least when two people are separating. So of course it gets more complicated than that. So within the employment pensions, there's two different kinds of pensions. So one is called a defined benefit pension plan, and the second one is a defined contribution pension plan. So let's go with the first one first. So defined benefit. So this is a pension where you're guaranteed to receive a certain amount of money, a certain income level upon retirement. So that's based on a certain formula that's generated by the employer. So things that affect that formula are things like the length of your employment, your salary during your employment, your age, and other such factors. So by contrast, a defined contribution pension plan is much like an RSP. So there's contributions made during the person's employment. Now that may be employer contributions, employee contributions, a combination, but in the end, there's no formula. So it's just contributions made plus growth over time equals the amount of your pension. So the first thing we have to do is, of course, determine what kind of pension you have, and then we have to figure out how to value it.
Stephanie, that's a lot of information. If people are looking, and the next step, I guess, is to determine the value of the employment pension. So how does that happen?
Well, let's go in the reverse order this time. So let's start with the easy one. So the defined contribution pension plan. So this is the one where we just take the contributions and growth over time. So to value this pension, a member of the pension plan just simply needs to go and get their statements from the pension administrator. So for example, a Husky employee who's a member of their defined contribution plan would go to Sun Life and get their statements. Now these statements are available at certain intervals. They'll be either annually, quarterly, monthly, and of course your divorce professional will let you know exactly the date range that you need to gather and submit to them. So the second one is, of course, the more challenging one, the defined benefit pension plan. Again, this is the one that's based on that formula. So in order to value the pension plan, the starting point, and I really want to emphasize that this is just a starting point, is to first go to your pension administrator and request a pension estimate. So how the heck do you do that? So this is going to vary from pension to pension. The first thing you can do to really make it easy is do an online search for your pension plan name, and then within that site there'll be a search bar. And you just type in the word divorce, and usually that will bring you up a set of instructions, not only on how to get the pension estimate done, that value done, but also how to divide the pension, because there's of course more forms when you need to do that at that time. We, in our website at Henka Divorce, we just updated our resources section in the last couple of days. And under the division of property section in our resources, we actually have links to a bunch of pension plans with exactly those links. So the link to value and then the link to divide and how to do all of that. So check out our website for some more information. To get that estimate, you're going to have to send in a form, of course, but the thing you're going to have to think of is what's called the period of joint accrual. So that's the period from start to finish of what you want that pension administrator to value. It's really important before you submit that form that you know what that date is, and of course your divorce professional can help you with that, because sometimes some of the pension administrators actually restrict the number of times that you're allowed to order that pension value estimate. So just be careful before you submit that form.
All right, Stephanie, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And if anybody is looking for help or more information regarding the pension and separation and divorce, what's the best way to track you down?
Sure, of course. People can go check out henkadivorce.ca. There's tons of resources and information. There's a chat feature. You can call us or submit our web form or chat with us. And of course, call our office 780-875-2234.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. And we will chat again with you next week.
Thanks, Stacy.
And ending off, we'll take another quick look at your 7-day forecast here. We will be seeing that 20 tomorrow, so get ready. We're getting some summer temperatures slowly moving here in the border city. Then we will be seeing 17 for a few days after that, seeing a high chance of some precipitation for the weekend. But don't worry, because we will be seeing more sun next week, starting off with 19 next Monday, and then seeing a mix of some sun and cloud next Tuesday at 17 degrees. And then we will be seeing a much sunnier day next Wednesday at 15.
Thank you, Shelby, and thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News this evening. You can catch us again in the second hour.